Well, hello and Happy New Year! Welcome back to another episode of Three Crones and the Woo-Woo. I am your Dragon Slayer crone, Miss Gayle Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. Today, to my side, this side, we have Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. And in place of Miss Krista, we have a beautiful picture of the Eiffel Tower. She's in Paris right now, I do believe. And so, you know, on the totem pole of things, you know, Paris and us. So no, she loves us and we love her. She's just got competing appointments.
She lives up to that name, the Crystal Traveling Crone.
Yes, she is. She's living up to that. But the cool thing is she didn't just phone it in. She phoned it in. She recorded a video for us. So when it comes time for her segment, she'll be here with us in reality as much as she is in spirit. Yes. So thank you all for joining us today. All of you out there so far. Ada is hi. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope this year is the coming forward of everything that should have been 2020. Yeah. You know, and going forward into the new decade. With health and wealth and prosperity all around instead of worry and fear and illness in your face 24/7. All right. So, Miss, my dear, how are you, Damaris? How's things down there in New York?
So much better, Gayle. I was sick, really sick. I had the flu and, you know, I couldn't even get out of bed. And I felt just like out of my body. Like I was like a zombie walking around. It was weird, but I feel so much better. Thank God.
I'm glad that you do.
Yeah.
We were worried about you because you got it really, really intense.
I did. It was really bad. But as we were talking just before we went on, I feel like it was a purge, you know? I had never gotten sick with anything since this whole pandemic started. And then I just got sick. So I feel like it was an accumulation of all the gook that I had absorbed, you know, since 2020. And I was just purging it for the new year.
Yep. Toxic dump.
Yeah.
Toxic dump.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, Krista.
Yes, that looks good.
Awesome. We love that you're here. Happy New Year, Sue. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you're watching on the replay, please put replay in the comments. Thank you again for joining us at your convenience. We love that you're joining us at all and whatever works best for you. Thanks so much for being part of the show.
Yes.
Well, we weren't here for the last couple of weeks, not just because of your illness, but then like I think it was before that, or no, you and Krista were sick the same week. Yeah. And then I was sick the next week. You know, and I'm really sad that we didn't get to do the last two shows of 2022 because there were some pretty interesting things going along at that time. And every year I want to do a seminar that I did like 15 years ago called The Star of Bethlehem. Okay. But I feel like after I learned the information that I wanted to talk about back then, right? It ruined Christmas for me for a while.
Really? Why?
It really did. Because in this, I have this book that I found in a like a bargain basement thing back when Barnes and Nobles was actually a brick and mortar store, you know? And I actually think it was up in Canada that I found it. But it's a book called The Star of Bethlehem. And it goes through the story about this guy who collects coins. Oh. And he found this very, very old coin. And hey, Harry. Hey, Allison. Thanks for joining us. We're glad to be back too. Thank you. Thank you. So he found this coin, and on the coin was a ram jumping over the firmament, but looking back over its shoulder at a star. Okay. And he traced this coin back to when it was created, and that had to have, and I need a refresher course on it, but essentially it went back to early Antioch, I believe. Okay. So basically what he found out from this coin is something that we've known for a while. Teal Swan talks about it a little bit, in that the Star of Bethlehem was actually Jupiter. Okay. But he goes into even more detail on it because he's got friends at like Harvard and all of these, upper Ivy League schools that have all of these wonderful resources available to them for research. And what he discovered was that it wasn't just Jupiter. It was Jupiter backlit by the sun.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was the Eastern morning star, right? And it rose just before dawn, but it was brighter than normal because it's backlit by the sun, right?
Wow.
And there was a reason why he details in this book why the wise men knew the portents of this star, but King Nebuchadnezzar's dream interpreters didn't. And that was because they were using an entirely different system of astrology.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was Hellenistic that the three wise men, and the Hellenistic system is a much more long-term type of way of looking at the stars. Okay. Yeah. As far as portents and clues of people that might be born and so on. So these wise men headed towards, from where they were at, towards King Nebuchadnezzar's castle, for lack of a better term, and passed by Bethlehem on the way. Didn't stop. They didn't know that that's where that was at the time, right?
Yeah.
And they hang out with the king for a little while, and he reveals himself to be not a nice guy. And they're like, well, we're not telling him shit. We're out of here, right? And they continue following the star, but they're going back along the same path that they came. Well, not the same path. It's actually a different path, but the same direction that they came from, right? So what does that mean? Jupiter went retrograde while they were, right?
Amazing.
And then when it stopped, when it stationed direct again, it was right over Bethlehem.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing.
Isn't it?
Amazing.
I love it when this stuff bears out. Now, here's the thing. If all of this astrology is actually that accurate,
it is.
Well, then what happens, right? What happened? Well, in this book, it talks about the fact that the Catholic Church acknowledged that they were basically going, look, we put together the Bible 300 years after the birth of Christ. We took a ballpark guess. We actually got within 6 years of when the Christ child was actually born. Good job, guys. You did good. I mean, 300 years, only 6 years off. You did great. But this guy with these computer models and stuff was able to look back and go, okay, could there be a day that a being could be born that would reign for 1,000 years? And there was, and it was in April. And why did Joseph and Mary go to Bethlehem? Yes. To be counted for the census in the spring, in April.
In April.
So we do know.
The Julian calendar starts in April. Mm-hmm. And it goes all the way through March. And there's 13 months in the Julian calendar. And every month is 28 days. And we have 13 months. So I believe that calendar is more accurate than the one that we're following.
I agree with you too. So we actually have, should you choose to accept it,
yes,
proof
of course
of when the Christ child was born.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing story. But for a long time after that, it kind of took the magic and the wonder out of Christmas. You're out of the question.
Yes.
If you know the truth about it, even if the truth proves you're right. right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So,
I believe that the planets are 100% accurate. I mean, when you look, for me, how I proved it was within my own life, my own chart, my own timelines. And it's just amazing how accurate it is. And if we all follow that, we would be on the right path. But not everybody believes in it, you know?
Right. And not everybody is willing to put the brain power into it, because it's really not, you know, people look, stop for a second, one sentence at a time. Okay. Thank you. People, you know, I'll be like, hey, I haven't checked my horoscope today. Oh, I don't believe in that stuff. Well, what's your rising sign? What's a rising sign? Well, that's why you don't believe in it, honey. Yes. Because you're going on just the surface stuff that they can put into 3 sentences on the back page of the newspaper.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with you as an individual.
100%.
Your triple layer makeup of humanity in the moment that you were born. Right?
100%.
And there's so many people that get hung up on that because of the fact that, for example, our rising sign is the sign that we actually most emulate.
Yes. Right? That's what we show the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we're looking at our sun sign, it really doesn't reflect us so much as our rising sign.
100%.
And it has nothing to do with how we feel, which is our moon sign.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, it's very frustrating that for me, that people don't really realize how. I imagine so for you, you know. Yeah. Damaris does birth charts, Sue.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I mean, they're amazing. Like I said, it's your blueprint. You know, they say we don't come with a map. We do. We have our own sort of map. I always tell people when I do astrology, I tell them it's like we came in a helicopter. We're like spiritual soldiers, and they brought us down into this maze, and they gave us each a map. And so the way we get out of the maze is through our own map, not through anybody else's. But then we don't understand, and we start asking questions. We don't go within ourselves to find the answer.
Yeah.
And the answer is within our own map for ourselves. And so if we only looked at that, we would alleviate a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
We would.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love what you just said, because it is absolutely so true. Everything is there within that map for you as an individual.
Yes.
Right? You start trying to live your life according to somebody else's map.
It's not going to work.
No, it's going to be very frustrating.
Very frustrating. And the only way out is looking at your map. The only way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. All right. Well, let's get started a little bit with your astrology stuff to begin with, and let's hit it.
All right. I love the music. All right. So we have a full moon January 6th in Cancer, and it will be opposing Capricorn. There is so much, and I wrote a little bit about it last week, even though we weren't on. There's so much going on in Capricorn. We have the sun in Capricorn. We have Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. We have Venus in Capricorn, and we have Pluto in Capricorn. Now, I want to take you guys back a little bit. So Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008. If we remember what happened in 2008, I'll give you 3 major things that happened. So we had the market crash in 2008. We had George Bush Jr., his presidency ended in 2008, and Obama's presidency began in 2008. There was a lot of bailouts that happened, because of the crash. We saw a lot of corporate greed. We saw a lot of financial turmoil. I mean, it was really bad. A lot of people lost their homes. They went into foreclosure. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so all that happened when Pluto went into Capricorn. Now, Pluto, as you know, is the sign of death and rebirth, the planet of death and rebirth. And so Pluto has to bring everything down, destroy everything that's not working in order for it to rebuild it. So we're still going through that transit. We're still not done with that transit. It doesn't leave Capricorn until 2026. In 2026, we will be in a new world. And people don't understand that. And I keep telling people, but because they don't believe in astrology, they think I'm nuts. I don't have to listen to the news. I don't have to listen to anything. I just have to look at the planets and the alignment and the energy. And I know what's coming. And so, like I was saying before, there's so much going on in Capricorn. Now, let's talk about Mercury retrograde for a little bit. Mercury retrograde started on the 29th of December, and it will stay in retrograde until January 18th. But it will remain in Capricorn until February 11th. So that's 9 weeks of stop and go, meaning it wants you to go backwards, so to speak, retrograde, and it wants you to look at your vision board or the drawing board, and it wants you to sort of like erase what's not working and recreate something better for yourself. Remember, Capricorn has to do with goals. It has to do with, the goals that we set out for ourselves. So each of us must have goals that we set out for ourselves. If something isn't working within those goals, we have to be the ones to sort of do something different. We can't expect anybody else to do anything for us. We have to do it. Another thing that I have to say about Capricorn is that it's the sign that allows you to take full responsibility for your life. I hear so many times people blaming something or someone outside of themselves for what's happening in their lives. And it's just like, it's getting to the point where that's not going to work anymore. Blaming something or someone else is not going to work, because the only ones, when you realize that you're the only one that can change your life, you become empowered. And you then can change it, right?
Yeah.
And so Capricorn wants us to look at our goals that we had set forth, and if it's not working, it wants us to go backwards, change it, and make the plan anew, a better plan. And so that's what this retrograde is really all about. It wants us to, okay, what goals did you have? Where do you want to see yourself by 2026? Remember when Pluto goes into Aquarius, right? Pluto goes into Aquarius. It's all about unity. It's all about the planet coming into unity, unified. It's that 11 master number that we have today, which is the number of, of light, the number of higher consciousness. It wants us, all of us, to, know that we're all in this together. Whatever is happening in every government in the world, we're all the people are going through it at the same time, different things going on, but we're all in this together. When we realize that we're one human race, when we realize that we're more than the government and their laws and their rules and their regulations, and when we start coming together and changing it for the better for all of us, everything ends and everything starts anew, the way it's meant to be. And since we're going into 1,000 years of peace, back when, in 2026, it will start, then that means that everything will be just different. Life will never be the same again. We can't allow this to happen again. As I said to you guys before, 2008, look at everything that happened. And all they did was bail out. But the people that lost their homes, it's just, the government really is not working for us. It's not working for the people. And so we have to begin to come together as one human race and say to ourselves, okay, what's going to work? What's going to work where there's no homelessness, there's no hunger, where everybody has a place to live, where everybody can thrive, right? Because that's not the way it is right now. And so, but it will be that way. And I'm happy to say that we will see and we will witness this. Most of us will. And I know it's going to change because of the planetary alignments. Like I said, nobody has to tell me. I can see it. And it's never worked. It was never wrong before. So it's not going to be wrong, because that's the energy and that's what happens. Every single person, it's based on their state of consciousness. So everybody gets the same energy from the planets, but based on how you think, how you feel, your belief systems, your state of consciousness, you're going to react differently to the same energy. And so that's why we have so many different perspectives, because people react differently to the energy, but the energy is the same. the energy is planetarily the same. And so the best way to go about this is to raise our consciousness so that we know how to use the energy where it benefits us, where it benefits the planet as a whole. Yeah. And so all this energy that's going on in Capricorn is allowing us to stop, reflect, erase, draw new things, new creations, new plans for ourselves, so that we have a better life for ourselves. Now, there are some people that don't get it. Some people don't understand it, and they're not going to make the change. What are you going to do? But for those of us that are open, and for those of us that realize that the planets are never wrong, we will be able to, sort of like reinvent ourselves through that Pluto energy as well. And so, do you have anything to add?
There's just so much, absolutely so much going on. I'm thinking back to where I was in 2008,
Okay.
And that was moving from Michigan, right? Like having the bottom fall out in the mortgage industry.
Yeah.
My late husband at the time was a real estate appraiser and was only getting jobs that would put him in federal prison.
Oh my gosh.
Because people were gaming the system right and left and center. And just it was bad. That's when I moved from Michigan down to Phoenix. And literally, like, everything, life as I knew it, just completely changed.
Yeah. And that's that energy of Pluto going into Capricorn. There's a movie called The Inside Job, and it talks about that crash, the market crash. It's a really informative movie, and it really gives you clarity in how things happened. I suggest that people, download it and watch it. It's called The Inside Job.
Nice.
Yeah, but again, the energy of Pluto is not leaving Capricorn until all systems that are not sustainable, all systems that do not work for the better humanity, all those systems have to be destroyed, all of them. And there's systems that you can't fix. It's just so dysfunctional, so corrupt that they cannot be fixed. And so that is not what God had in store for us. And it's got to change, and it will change. And, those of us that are preparing ourselves, the hit won't be that bad. Those people that do not understand this or believe in this, they will be hit hard. Reality will hit them in the face. And, I'm always telling people, like, we need to wake up. We need to wake up, so that the hit won't be so hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, what were you talking about? The looking to see, what's working, what's not working, erasing and redrawing new things. Okay. What was that aspect?
Okay. So like if you have a vision board for yourself, right?
No, I mean the planets. What are the planets involved with that?
So it's really Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Because
so here's the thing. That went in on December 29th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just a couple of days ago, a friend of mine was looking at my pictures that I've taken. I've got a folder of certain ones that I've like altered and like photoshopped a little bit.
Yeah.
Not like I'm making composites of, planets and solar systems and shit like that, but just bumping up the contrast a little bit, that kind of stuff. And he says, have you ever thought of turning your photos into jigsaw puzzles? And I was like, oh my God. That is
a great idea.
Perfect. Yes.
Wow.
And it never occurred to me, right? I have been taking pictures. I've probably got 60,000 pictures on Google Photos right now, right?
Oh my gosh.
That I've taken, whether it's concert photography or landscapes or whatever, that I'm the last few months, I've been like, I need to print some of these out on canvas and find a little restaurant that I can put them up for display and for sale. And then this guy pops out of nowhere with, make jigsaw puzzles. And I'm like,
that's amazing. We can make one for the 3 Crones.
Yes, that's one of the things that he said. He's like, take the logo and do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
Oh
This
my God, what an amazing
idea.
idea. You see, this is exactly that energy.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because it's like,
Yeah.
I've been wanting to have like an online business thing where it's like drop shipped and I'll give you this and then boom, just takes care of itself.
Yes.
This is a perfect fit for me.
Gayle. You should go for it.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So thanks for saying that, because that's, that's like, okay, number 2 confirmation.
Yes.
So
it's definitely a message.
Yeah.
And Mercury is the messenger. You know that, right?
Yes,
It's the messenger. Yeah. But so that's what it is, because Capricorn is such a goal-oriented sign. And Capricorn is the sign that helps us reach our goals. And so
what's hilarious is the guy that said that is a Capricorn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. With Mercury retrograde, it's really telling us what was the plan that you had, and whatever plan you had, whatever's not working from that plan, sort of like erase it and recreate something else in its place, so that you're able to reach your goals, so that you're able to sort of like, live on purpose. You know what I mean? I feel like with all this energy, I feel like I'm in limbo, literally. It's almost like, because of the energy of the Capricorn energy and all that's going on, I feel like it's almost like you can't really start something new until that energy is kind of like washed away, so we can start on a clean slate. So I feel like I shouldn't start this yet until this energy is completely gone. Without me even realizing it, for the last 6 months, I've been sort of like disassociating myself from things that no longer serve me.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I was doing
it. Just happens organically, doesn't it?
It's crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's because there's some energies that can't continue with me. Not because I'm better. It's just because of the plan that I had for myself. And some of those energies are not aligned with that. And it's okay. And so I've had to do that. And I'm glad I have, because they say, especially the Buddhists, they say that suffering, the attachment, is the cause of all suffering. So when we begin to disassociate, when we begin to detach, we don't suffer as much, because we're already sort of like detached.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of us have to do that, because we can't carry all this baggage. A few, I'm gonna say maybe 6 months ago, I did a post, and it was this girl with all this baggage. Like, where's she going with that? You know what I mean? It's like you have to let go of the baggage in order to, be light and move forward, which is the number 11, right? It's the number of light, and you can look at it as light, where it's like a beam of light, or being lighter, right? So in order to ascend, we have to be lighter. We can't have all this baggage or all the things weighing us down. The number 11 is a number for self-reliance, leadership, public speaking. It's a number for ministers. It's a number for reformers. It's someone that is going to, again, build communities, build new consciousness, build new bodies. When I was, thinking of the number 11, I'm an 11 master number. My life path is 11. Not that I'm always vibrating at that number, because we kind of sometimes fall down to the 2 vibration, which is not as powerful as the 11. But it's a humanitarian number. And so what humanitarian, things am I going to do that are service oriented? Not necessarily that I'm going to get paid for, but that I am going to contribute, make a personal contribution. And they say the first contribution that we make to the planet is our own healing and our own, raising our own vibration. That's the first contribution. The second contribution then should be being of service to others. And so that's what that 11 number is all about. 11, you find a lot of public speakers, authors within that vibration, is a number for leaders, a vibration for leaders, showing others the way. There's the light, right? Shining the light on the path so others can go through that path. So 11 is a really beautiful vibration, if we maintain it.
Yes.
We allow other things to bring us down. That's why I like that word. And I want Krista to make a magnet or a sticker that says I'm messable with, because it's not allowing anything to mess with me so that I can have tunnel vision towards my goal or goals. Right. And so sometimes we allow things to mess with us, and it's not their fault. It's mine if I allow it. And so that's really, we have to have tunnel vision.
Yeah. Unflappable.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
I told my boss that the other day. I said, I don't complain and I'm generally unflappable. What was funny, I got to back up to set it up. We do chocolates in the facility that I'm at, right? And then in the cooler, right, we've got not like it's a beer cooler, but when we have to chill the chocolates, you have to put the chocolates in the cooler and put this huge fan on them so the condensation doesn't take root.
Wow.
Okay. So when that happens, though, the cooler drops down to like 20 below. And there was a huge dairy shipment that had just come in, and my boss is like, "Hey, you need to get that out." And I walked into the cooler. I walked back out. I came in. I got this big old parka on. I got my hat on. I got my gloves on, and I walked back up to it. And I'm like, I don't complain, and I'm generally unflappable, but I really think that making me go undo the dairy order while we're cooling, the chocolate is unreasonable. Below in there, it's just unreasonable. But I love that word unflappable, because you're not going to get me waving my arms all over the place.
That's right. But we're in control of that, and when we allow someone else to mess with us, and we lose control and we lose focus. Exactly.
And you know what? Retaining focus is not like something you can put a sticker on. I got to do a new commercial for those, because those are great stickers, but they're not even the new ones. The new ones are amazing.
Yes.
So make sure that you reach out to Krista. She's available. She's just not available this hour of this day to make your order for stickers. So let's go see what Krista sent us. All right, my dears, this week, the crystal of the week is the Plum Blossom Jade. And I have to play this little video for you because it's beautiful.
Let's see.
I had never seen it before.
I never even heard of it. Oh, my goodness. Amazing.
Yeah. Isn't that gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
So let's see what Krista has.
Hey everyone, this is Krista, the Crystal Crone. I am sorry I can't be live with you guys today during our 3 Crones in the Woo Woo. However, I did not want to pass up the opportunity to A, say Happy New Year, and may 2023 be the best year yet. And B, I wanted to talk about the Plum Blossom Jade, which is the crystal of the week. Now, it was really kind of cool when it wasn't quite a year. It was last spring when we all got together, and we all being my mom, Sue, my dad, Al, Kevin, my husband, Genevieve, my daughter, and I sat around and pulled all the cards for this year. Well, they pulled them. I wrote them down. And the fact that Plum Blossom Jade came up kind of made me go, because it is a stone that I personally bought for me about, I think I got it in It was in 2018 I bought it for myself. And I really thought it was fascinating because it called to me. So the really cool thing about Plum Blossom Jade is it is here to remind us that it is a time of renewal. It is a great stone because it's one that brings in positive energy and helps to dispel the negative energy, but it doesn't just dispel it like with a smoky quartz or a heavy grounding stone. It really does it with a great balance. So if you're working with plum jade, or if you're, able to find a piece of plum jade to work with, this is a great one for right now, because it's going to help you bring up the joy and happiness, which is what we all really would like, but it's going to help you do it with discernment. So think of it, everything that we're doing, we're wanting to do with our own knowing and what speaks to us and what works for us, not necessarily, what's the popular point of view at that moment, if you get what I'm saying. So remember, this is the time for us to bring in, because it's the new year, the beginning of the month, and we're going into full moon. It is a really good time for us to think about what's important to us, what speaks to us, and how we want to set up our energy for the year to come. And with that, I'm going to pause until I can add on a little bit more about selecting your crystal of the year, because I think that this is a great time for us all to take that opportunity and find something that's going to speak to the energy that we want to bring forth for the upcoming year. So bye for now.
That was great.
That was awesome. I love it.
Great. It just reminded me too, this is a 7-year, 2023 is a 7-year, which is a year of soul searching, introspect, finding our purpose. So definitely it lines up also with everything, all the planetary alignments.
Right. And I think I think it bears pointing out that she was talking about that discernment, figuring out what's not working, what needs to be erased and what needs to be redrawn in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much for that report from the field, Miss Krista.
Yes, that was excellent.
Absolutely. It did work. Yay. Yes, it did.
It worked.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for submitting that as well.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So I want to talk to you and invite all of you. We're going to talk in a minute about New Year's resolutions, right? But here's one that I really want you to consider. I want you to consider becoming part of our Coven of Joy. All right. So there's a lot that goes on over there in Patreon that Krista takes care of for us. And Damaris contributes rather steadily to that. It's a little bit, I don't play over there as much as the other two do, but that's not to say I don't play at all. So over there at Patreon, there's all kinds of stuff going on, including our Moon and Woo that happens every other week. One weekend a month, we're talking about new moon energy. The other weekend a month, we're talking about full moon energy and how you can bring it into your life in a more powerful way. So just for a very small donation each month, you can have those immediate conversations with us, because when you're a member of the Patreon Moon and Woo, you get to come on screen, ask whatever questions that you have of any one of us that, is there that day, usually all three of us. And it's a step up from just listening to us droning on for an hour once a week, right? So I truly invite you to consider becoming a Patreon of Three Crones and the Woo Woo for 2023. If it doesn't turn out to be everything that you think that it should be, don't re-up in 24. But in the meantime, come play with us. This is the cover. Definitely. Yeah. Here is one of our founding members of the Patreon Coven of Joy, Miss Sue Paquin, and she loves the Moon and Woo. We really get in depth and specific about what's going on with that particular full moon or that particular new moon. And we really love to have you asking your questions and being part of that conversation as well. Right, Damaris?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. All righty. So let's get into talking about this. Before my segment, I want to talk about New Year's and New Year's resolutions and so on. Okay. Because I saw something today that I thought was the cleverest thing I've seen in a long time. That was my friend Frank Fidella. And he said, remember, when you make your New Year's resolutions, you can give them up for Lent. You can. It's completely legit. Nobody checks. Okay.
Nobody checks.
Which I just thought was absolutely great. But here's the thing. When we are making those resolutions, okay, we got to check in on mindset. All right. Because yeah, there is all of that. Like Damaris was just talking about Mercury going retrograde on the 29th, where it's like we need to take a look with some discernment and go, okay, what is working of my plan for me, right? And what's not working with my plan for me, and what would work differently? What might be something that would fill me up with more joy, more happiness, and so on, right? And a lot of times, because we're in the real world and it's a binary world, it's good or bad, right or wrong, you know, positive or negative, right? We come at those resolutions like, what's wrong with my life? I must fix it. You know, that's why resolutions don't last more than a week, because you're not broken. You don't need fixing, you know. You might want to try something new as another access to joy, but there's nothing fucking wrong. Okay. Anyways, so when you're looking at those things, to look at what would make your life more fulfilling, right? Try to stay away from the attitude of I need to fix something. You know, I'm too fat. I need to lose weight. No, you really don't. You really don't. I mean, okay, granted, there's medical standards of obesity and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, oh, you know, my pants are a little tight because I indulged a little much over the holiday. Okay. There's nothing wrong with you, sweetheart. Just make new choices for more live food that fulfills your body's needs and, you know, gives you more energy, more life force, and you will naturally move more often and burn more calories, and that weight will come off naturally by spring when you are in alignment. You want to talk to a pro that knows about that? Joanne Angelberry Cologne. She will tell you all about how coming into alignment will allow you to release excess calories that you've stored onto your body through the winter. Okay. It's just, it's just, that's how it works. Right. Yeah. So maybe you're looking at, you need more money coming in. Right. Well, again, there's nothing wrong. You've had the same amount of money coming in up until this point. You just want more now. So maybe start looking at how can you have fun in a way that causes money to return to you, right? Do you like to do crafts? Do you like to read tarot for people? What do you like to do that you could go and have fun with and then go, oh, cool, thanks for the extra cash.
Yeah.
You know? There's nothing broken and there's nothing to fix, right? So when you make these resolutions from a different point of view, where you're looking at what in my plan isn't necessarily working for me anymore, what can I get out of the way and what can I put in there so that going forward, it's a whole new world for me. You know, that's a whole different game than going, oh, well, I need to do better at doing this, or I need to do this right this time, or all of that. And then we get into the interior pressure and the guilt trips and all that kind of stuff. And if there's anything that's going to make you hold on to fat, that's guilt.
Yeah
Guilt
is such a low vibration.
Yeah, well, it's a low vibration, but it wants to protect the solar plexus, the creativity, right? When we feel guilty for that's the thing that I'm giving up this year. I'm feeling guilty for who I am.
Good for you.
Fabulous. I'm tired of living low key.
Yeah.
I really am,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that guilt settles right around your middle, What is it that you can't be fully self-expressed about? What are you judging yourself for having a feeling about that you think that you can't share that to other people? That is so horrific that people will throw you over and hate you for it, right? Work on that stuff. Don't feel guilty for having feelings, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, absolutely, Ada. Self-image. Yes.
Yes.
You are beautiful.
She is.
You
She
know?
is.
Yes, absolutely, Allison. All the shoulds.
Yes.
100%. 100%. I had a conversation, and this is one of those moments where you just start talking and you realize that God's talking through you, and just don't shut up. Just keep going, right? There was a couple, very young couple, and I don't remember exactly how the conversation started, but she was talking about how she didn't think she was beautiful, right? And her boyfriend was just like, "Are you kidding me? You're gorgeous. What are you talking about?" And I looked at this girl, and she was pretty. She was like, she wasn't drop dead, walk off of a magazine. Who is, though? I mean, without Photoshop. But she was a very pretty girl, right? And I looked at her and I said, "Did you know that there are certain points on your face that he will think are beautiful that no other man on the planet thinks is beautiful? That there is the way your face looks to him, you are the most beautiful creature on the planet because of the fact that he loves you."
Yeah.
Right? And I said, and beyond that, you and I, when we see each other face on when we're looking in the mirror. That is the worst camera angle ever. Okay? Yeah. We don't get to see ourselves when we're looking off at a bird in the tree and the sunlight's coming through and just glowing our face. And he's standing 3 feet away and seeing this. And you are the most beautiful creature on the planet. And you will never see yourself from that angle.
No.
Right?
You won't.
Right? So give space for the fact that what other people see is more accurate than your opinion of yourself.
And also the inner beauty, Gayle, inner beauty radiates, know, and I think that actually inner beauty is more important than the outer beauty.
Yeah. Yeah. How a person is inside can, absolutely, without a doubt. All right, let's talk a little bit about what the topic of the day. All right, creating 2023 as a year of hope, happiness, joy, and renewal. Okay, now all 4 of those things, I'll be honest with you, I ripped them off the description of Plum Blossom Jade. Okay, that's what that stone is all about: hope, happiness, joy, and renewal. Okay, and those are all of the things that we really need to put into design with what Damaris was talking about the planets doing this month. Mercury going into retrograde in Capricorn back on the 29th, which is still, and that's going to happen through what, the 18th or the 13th?
It's going to stay until February 11th, but it's going to go direct on January 18th.
Okay, gotcha.
But we have 9 weeks of Mercury in Capricorn.
Yes. Yes. So here's the thing. We get to actually take this time as Mercury is in retrograde, already here. We've still got 2 more weeks here, right? 2 more weeks in a day.
The 18th.
Right? Till the 18th, till it stations direct again. And then we've got that shadow phase as it starts moving forward again. Okay. And then it's going to continue moving forward in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is the hardest working sign out there.
Yes.
Okay. So you've got this next 2 weeks in a day to just kind of notice things. Oh, that's not working anymore. Yeah. Oh, that could be working better. I think I could kick that one up a notch, or I could tweak that in a little, dial that one in a little bit clearer, right? A little more focused, and so forth for the next couple of weeks. And that's all I really want you to do is to start noticing, writing things down. You don't have to do a damn thing yet. No actions to be taken until after the 18th.
Yes. Going back to astrology.
Yeah. This is your noticing what needs to be erased time. Okay. And then after the 18th, as Mercury starts moving forward, right? Now, hold on a second before I get to that part. What I want you to be looking at for things that are to be erased, right? If they don't bring you joy, if they rob you of hope, right? If they water down your happiness, right? Or even try to snatch it away. We all have those relatives that are like, oh, must be nice to take a cruise. Well, yeah, it fucking was. And if you did what I did to get there, you would enjoy it too.
You're right, though.
Right?
Yes.
So, and those are the happiness stealers, you know.
To make you feel guilty about taking that trip.
Yeah. Yeah. They yeah. I come from a long line of happiness suckers. Anyway, so those are the things to know, the things that suck away your happiness, the things that ruin your joy, the things that take your hope away, right? And the things that present to you as, oh, that'll never change. There's no hope for any kind of difference in the future, right? Because that's your renewal stuff, right? And what we're talking about in renewal is not renewing your subscription, okay? Like having the same thing continue on for another year. We're talking about freshening, like the renewal of spring. Things are growing again, okay? That's the kind of renewal. So as you're going through this next 2 weeks in a day, you're going to be looking for those things that rob you of your joy, that diminish your sense of hope, that diminish your sense of happiness, and that give you the idea that things don't refresh themselves. Like winter will never end. No, spring is coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the things that you're going to want to erase. Okay. And then you can actually start thinking of the things that you might want in its place.
Exactly.
Okay.
Always have to put something in its place because we revert back to the old ways if we don't.
Exactly. Right. So think of it this way. If your life is a garden, okay, and you've got some of these plants that are perennials and they come back year after year and they're doing great, but maybe there's too much of them now and you need to thin them out. Okay. So the ones that you really want to grow have space to stretch their roots and blossom well. Okay. And then there's other ones that you planted them like hostas, for heaven's sake.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yes.
Or there's like bird of paradise, or I'm not really big into plants, but those ones that you planted that they were a good idea at the time, okay? And now you're just sick of looking at them, right? Maybe pull those ones out and find something else to put in that space of your garden.
Very good.
Because if you don't put something else in that space,
weeds will come out.
Weeds will come up. Exactly. And you won't even have what once seemed like a good idea. You'll just have weeds. Okay. So now is that time to be thinking about those things, right? What plants don't you want to look at anymore in your life? And what else can you put in there that is going to bloom and blossom and bring a smile to your face when the sun shines?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Awesome stuff. So that's what that is all about this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, today's card of the day, of course, they always fit in, don't they?
Let's see. Three of Wands.
Yes.
Yes, they do fit.
So I want to give you this. Hold on one second. All right, so today's card of the day is the Three of Wands. So it's all about investing in your future today, right? Making connections, working on your education, creating something for the future, right? This is the very beginning, the prep, getting your colored pencils together, finding your paper, or whatever media you want to use. Maybe you want to do watercolors on glass. I don't know, right? But gathering your materials, knowing that you're doing this to create something powerful.
Like being an architect.
Yes, absolutely. Now, your future is going to say, I'm so glad I put this energy into this back then, guaranteed, right? So come spring, when you look at how your life garden is blossoming, you're going to look back to the first show of 3 Crones in the Woo Woo for the first of the year and go, I am so glad I did that. I took that 2 weeks to really take stock of my life on what's not fulfilling me, what's not satisfying me, what's not making me feel happy and joyful and hopeful, right? And got that all out of there and planted the little seeds for what's coming up now, okay? When this card appears, the decision has been made and you're making your optimistic steps towards your goals. You have set things in motion and there's no turning back. You know what you need to do and you have the confidence to do it. You have the ability to lead and a vision that can inspire. Now, forgiveness of yourself and others may be required in order to let go of the past. You know what my biggest thing is? I'm so confident and I come across like I know what I'm doing, that when time comes for things to change, I don't want to let go of my point of view that was the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But the word forgive means to give up, right?
Yes.
I got to give up the idea that I was wrong, because I wasn't wrong back then. It just no longer works now.
It's a trade-off.
Exactly. So giving up that feeling that like I messed up, if I have to let go of that, and just know that life is progressing and that is no longer in alignment with where I'm headed now.
Exactly.
Okay. Now you've got a bright future ahead of you. So it's an ideal time to let go of past hurts and stop hurting yourself on behalf of someone else.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't. And your suffering is not going to make them care.
Exactly.
Because they don't fucking care.
You're right.
All right. Now, this card also may indicate foreign travel. Coming together with others and negotiating or trading could also be implied. 3 of Wands suggests equality and cooperation in such endeavors. Ultimately, when this card shows up, growth is certain. You can't stop it. Okay.
I love it. And
so you might
really
as well flow with it.
You can't stop like the energies of the planets. Those things don't stop. Either we ride that wave or we don't.
Yep. Or we watch it wash over our feet. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So next up, we want to say congratulations to our woo-woo winner of the week. Oh, yes, it is, Miss Sue. It certainly is. And that winner is... Congratulations, Tanya Pesci! Yay! I'm so very happy.
She's always promoting.
Awesome. Yes. And thank you so much for always promoting the show. This is just fabulous. Fabulous. I really appreciate you. All righty. So I'm sure, Tanya, that you know how this goes because you have won before. However, for everyone else who does not know how this goes, every week we give away a 30-minute reading from one of us 3 Crones. So there is, you pick me, it's an intuitive tarot reading. If you pick Miss Damaris, then it is a numerology reading. And if you pick Miss Krista, it is a crystal reading. And yes, her readings are still available, even though she was not on screen with us today.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, all you got to do is reach out to whoever it is that you want to supply your prize and say, I chose you. And we'll get you on our schedule right away, whenever is convenient for both of us. Yes. All right. So thank you again for all of your support. And thank you, Tanya, for, just for everything. I mean, I can't even list everything that you've been to us this past year. Really, really appreciate your love, support, and your energy. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
All righty. So everyone have a phenomenal week. Unbelievable new year. And we will, all three of us, I do believe, be here with you again next week. So
yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a fantastic week. Bye, y'all.